so great. I am pumped to be here, and I'll tell you, usually as I'm up or I'm meeting people in regards to money, they're always like, what was it like growing up as Dave Ramsey's kid? It's always like the first question, because everyone assumes like, did you have mutual funds birthday parties? And like budget summits every summer with your whole family? You know, I'm like, okay, dear God, no, that didn't happen. And everyone thinks that we're just like this money-obsessed family. And I can tell you, thankfully, that was not the case. But Mom and Dad were very intentional with teaching us how money works. And because of that, they laid such a strong foundation for us that I'm so thankful for. And the more I travel and talk to people, the more weird I can tell my upbringing was. But it wasn't so weird because they taught us things like work. Just shock for some people. But I never was given an allowance. My parents never handed us money because we were always on commission. So you work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. And when you get your money, you give it first, you save it second, you spend it third. Debt was a 4-letter word in our household growing up. You just didn't go there because Mom and Dad, if you know their story, they actually filed for bankruptcy the year I was born. It made a huge impact on their story and our family's life. And so I kind of like took all of that knowledge. I was like, hey, this is good, and all this practice with money. And I actually started traveling and speaking with my dad at 15 years old. He used to do these huge live events across the country with 10 to 12,000 people packed into an arena for an all-day Saturday event. And someone convinced me that I should get up at the event before one of the breaks and pitch all of our kids' products that we have. They're like, how great would it be for Dave Ramsey's kid to pitch the kids' products? I was like, well, I'm 15 and there's 12,000 people in an arena. Like, oh dear God, you know, terrible. But I was like, no, okay, I can do this, I can do this. And that was the moment during that season, I traveled with him for about 2 years, that I realized my love for speaking. I loved public speaking and figured out how weird that was, because most people would die if they had to speak in front of a crowd. But I loved it, and so I had kind of that in the back of my head, and then when I went to college, is what I always say was my light bulb moment. This moment that I realized, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Because I was sitting in freshman orientation, and I met this girl, and afterwards we went to lunch, and we got into her car to go to lunch, and she was driving a brand new BMW. Brand new. And I told her, I was like, you have an awesome car. Like, this is amazing. And she said, oh, thanks, I just got it for high school graduation. It's actually my first car loan, and my mom co-signed the loan for me. So I'm sitting in the passenger seat thinking, oh my gosh, the average car payment in North America today is $480. Put that in a growth stock mutual fund from age 18 age 65, you could have $2.5 million. So bad, because my mom, but and in that moment I looked at her and she was like, wait, what? And I said, oh, and in my head I thought, well, this girl is not, she's not dumb, right? Like, she's a smart, intelligent young lady. She just has no idea. Because she's always been told that you're always going to have a car payment. And that's how life is. And from that moment on, I was like, I am going to do something different. My generation has to know there is a different way to handle money. And so when I graduated college, I told my parents, I was like, I want to travel and speak to high school students and college students. Because I kind of looked at my dad as the emergency surgeon, and I was the preventative medicine. Like, if you can get it early, you don't have to make all these devastating mistakes with your money. If you just know and you learn and you do this stuff. And so, because of that, I've been doing this whole time now for 9 years, and there's been some good lessons that I've learned along the way. And so I want to walk through about 4 of those with you. And one of them is, is to start with where you are with what you have. Start where you are with what you have. I told you speaking is something that I loved early on, and so that was one thing I wanted to do, but as I just said, I was speaking in arenas, like, packed to people that, just between us, like, it was a very easy audience, okay? Like, these people had paid to hear my dad, so as a 15-year-old, you get up on stage, and I could have fallen on my face and just have been like, oh my gosh, you're great, you're so cute, right? winning, warm audience that I was in front of. So when I graduated college, I went for my first speaking gig. It was like 4 days after college graduation. And I got in a rental car, drove into the middle of Kentucky to this tiny little high school, did it for free, and did my very first money talk in a cafeteria with high school students eating lunch. And the little microphone like had this little cord, and as you can tell, like I'm a hand talker, I'm a walker, and I just kept being like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But in the moment I was like, no, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And I can't tell you how many free events I did. Anytime someone would ask, will you come speak? I said yes. I was like, I will be there, I will be there, I will be there. Yes, 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 yes. And so for those of you starting out, say yes. And it's not going to be glamorous. It's not going to be glamorous. Now you look on social media and you see your peers in this room or maybe other people, and social media is like everyone's highlight reel, right? It's the best part of everyone's job, everyone's career, and everyone looks like, oh, we're killing it, we're killing it. You cannot compare your beginnings to someone else's finish line, or even someone's middle. Start where you are. And those of you that want to speak, I'll tell you a couple of things that I did. Number one, I videoed every single talk that I did for about 4 years. I had this tiny little camera, I put it on a tripod, put it in the front, and I used this camera right here and videoed every talk I did. Every talk I did, and watched it. And I'm telling you, you're going to be the most brutal critic, because watching yourself is terrible. It's torture. You're like, I'm so annoying. Like, why do I do that, right? You're going to watch yourself and be like, no. But do it, do it, do it, do it. Watch yourself. It's going to be the best thing you do. Do things for free like we talked about. Just because you may not have the credibility right now, do as many things as possible. Get reps under you. Go, 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 go. Even do it for free. I also say, too, be humble and don't be a diva. Don't be a diva. Because you never know who is around you and who can get you other connections. I was speaking at this women's event for free outside of Nashville early on, and there was a guy hanging around. I was like, why is this guy here? Like, it's a women's event. What's he doing? And always thankful. That's one thing my parents always said. Whatever opportunity someone gives you, you are grateful for that opportunity. And I always going, I'm like, what can I do for you? How can I help? What can I make better? And this guy just like kind of kept not following me around, but just kind of around. I was like, who is this guy? But I was like, it's okay, it's not too weird. Like, be kind and all that. And so it turns out after the event, he gave me his card, and he gave me my very first speaking gig that paid for. And he said, I will pay you. At the time, I almost fainted. $2,500. That's what he said. And I was like, it's like, I'm rich. But in that moment, I was like, and if I had just blown it off or just didn't give him the time of day, that opportunity probably wouldn't have happened. So you never know who's around. Be kind, be grateful, don't be a diva. And then last but not least, when you are in front of people, this isn't all of your content, but especially speaking, and Jean just hit on it earlier, but use stories and be funny. Use humor, because what you guys are doing out there, you're talking about money. And money is a hopeless topic for a lot of people. They are under stress, they don't know where to go, they don't know what to do, they have sleepless nights because of this topic. Like, it's a hard topic for a lot of people. So you're stepping onto a stage where you're presenting content in front of people, they're already going to be intimidated. So break down the wall and be funny, use humor, be silly. And even storytelling, this is huge. Tell a story. Whether it's one from your life or someone else's, be a storyteller. People connect with people. So be real, and just like Jean said, be authentic. She said that, I was like, yes, be real and be authentic. And so those are some things I learned early on with speaking that I just took with, I was where I was, and I took and started where I was with what I had. And also one of those things I did as well was starting my video blog. And we showed the camera earlier, but that's the video blog camera I started, because I was like, I have to get my message out in a super easy way. This was almost 7 years ago. And I was like, how am I going to do it? People were just starting to vlog, is what it was called, right? Just starting to vlog. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And my leader at the time, right before lunch one day, I came up to him and I was like, Jeremy, I think I need a video camera. Like, I want to start vlogging. I'll put it up on YouTube, I'll edit it. I didn't have a team around me. I was like, I'll just do it myself. So he went to Best Buy, bought this camera, which I still keep because it's just kind of sentimental and sweet to me. And it was an open box special, you guys. Like, someone had this camera and plugged it into my little MacBook Air, which I had at the time, and I edited my videos. And you guys, they're terrible. Like, I look back, and probably you do that with some of your content. You look back and you're like, it's miserable to watch, but I pulled my third vlog I ever posted. Oh, I can't remember to show you guys, but I am. Oh, jeez. But here is the third vlog I ever did. Oh, God, no, that's the middle part. The middle part. So bad.
So I think one of the big concerns a lot of parents have today as they're raising kids is they don't want their kids to grow up and feel entitled. So that's why I decided to do this blog post in my father's office. It sounds so prestigious, my father's office. No, it's really not. It's just a normal office. But mom and dad were determined to raise us Ramsey kids not to feel entitled. They didn't want to raise spoiled little brats. One of the best things they ever did was they taught us how to work.
Oh, God bless you, children. You know, at the time, I thought I was brilliant. I did. I was like, I'm killing it. But again, start where you are, because here's the deal. I tell this to people when I'm talking to parents about teaching their kids about money. I always tell parents, let your kids interact with money. Your kids need to hold money. They need to give their own money. They need to save their own money. They need to spend their own money. They need to make mistakes. Because when they make mistakes at 10 years old, they are small, inexpensive mistakes under your roof, versus the first time they ever handle money, they're out on their own and they're making a $40,000 mistake on a car lot. Like, do it small. Let them learn small, inexpensive lessons under your roof. And that's kind of like for your platforms, you guys, and where you're starting your businesses. Start, because you're starting small, if you are starting small right now, count it as a blessing, because you can put terrible videos out, content that doesn't work, but you get to try stuff on a really small scale versus millions of people seeing something for the first time. And so when you're doing it, do those reps. And so then after some time, you can actually, build things, which is what I've been able to do over the last 9 years. And then we just launched the Cruze show, which is like night and day difference. So I'll just show you 30 seconds of that. I am so excited because today's show is all about minimalism. So keep watching.
Massive editing.
What I like right now is Netflix. I can binge watch a show. I love documentaries. I just love Netflix. It's a way I can come home after we put the girls down and eat dinner. It's time we love to have the show, and it's great. So yeah, just a little bit different. But the idea again is start with where you are and what you have. Okay, lesson number 2 is to find your voice. Find your voice. We said it earlier tonight, and I love it again because it's true. Be authentic, you guys. You are you for a reason. You have your personality for a reason. You have your story for a reason. Be you. Don't try to be everyone else. Yes, you can emulate good practices, business practices, sure, but be you. And I think for me, this was a really hard lesson because of Dave Ramsey being my dad. I think everyone expected me to be his clone. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not a 50-year-old man with balding hair, right? That's not me. I'm sorry. And so when I look at him, we have very similar personalities. So there are things that are very similar with me and my dad that I can pick up. They're like, oh yeah, that's good. But there are things that are different. Like for instance, he teaches, when he talks about budgeting, seriously, this is what he says. All right, you got a budget. You need to do a zero-based budget. That's your income minus your expenses equals 0. Every dollar coming in is assigned to a category. It's 5th grade math. Shut up and you need to budget. It's basically what he does. It's like, it's 5th grade math. Budget. Why are you budgeting? Budget. Control your money. You need to budget. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not everyone loves a budget, Dave. It's true. Including me. I am a natural spender, and for a budget, that was the hardest financial principle for me to get my head around and to actually put into practice. Because what is true is that personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. So most people know what they should be doing, but doing it is what is difficult. So I always share the story, and I always tell people that I'm a spender and I'm a free spirit. And when Winston and I got married, I knew I should be budgeting, but we didn't. Winston and I did not budget for the first 6 months we were married. And I finally, or Winston actually was the one that came by and he was like, listen, Rachel, we have got to budget. So our first month's budget, I'll never forget, we were sitting in Knoxville, Tennessee in this old condo, and it was terrible. Our first budget was a disaster. The second month, it got a little bit better, but by the third month, it actually started working. We were like, okay, this is actually working. It took about 90 days, but it was working. And so we have budgeted every month. Like, we're not perfect with money, but budgeting we really have gotten down. So we've done it every month for about 8.5 years now. So much so, it's been such a part of our life that right before we decided to start a family, a few years back, we took one last big vacation before kids. It was like kind of like, oh, let's just get out and just celebrate before, the kids enter the picture. So we actually came to Florida, so we were on the plane, flying down, and Winston looked at me on the airplane and he said, Rachel, listen, it has been a crazy travel season for you, and I just want you to be able to relax and enjoy, and it was crazy for him too, and he was like, I just want us to relax. So I don't want you to have to worry about the budget. In fact, you don't even have to think about the budget. You can just spend money. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I'll keep up with everything. Don't worry about it. You just don't have to think about it. I was like, so you're telling me I don't have to think about the budget and I can just spend money? And he said, yes. And I gave him the biggest kiss in the world. I was like, babe, you're letting me live in my strengths. This is what I'm good at. That's great. So we got to our hotel, checked in, went out by the pool, and it was one of those really cool pools where like waiters and waitresses will come around and take your food or drink order, and you can eat or drink right at your chair by the pool. And it just like blew our minds. We're like, this is the best thing ever. And so this waitress walked by, and I was like, hey, do you guys have chips and guacamole? She was like, oh yeah, sure. So she brought me some guacamole chips, and I'm eating it, and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. So then I got a little thirsty, and I was like, I need a drink. And so she came back by, and I said, hey, can I have a menu so I can see the drinks? And she was like, oh yeah, sure. So she brings me the menu. I open it up. First thing I see, appetizers, chips and guacamole, $23. $23. I was like, oh my gosh, did the avocados like fall from heaven? Like, $23. And I was like, it's okay, just spend the money. Spend the money. So then I go to drinks. The very first drink said lemonade, and I thought, oh, that's what I want. Oh, that's good. I look over. $18. Like, it didn't have alcohol in it. Like, no vodka, just lemonade. $18. And I was like, oh my God. And at that moment, she was right in front of me, the waitress, and she said, well, what would you like to drink? And inside of me was like this battle. And I just heard this voice be like, spend the money. Spend the money. Go back to your roots. Like, go back to who you were, Rachel. Spend the money. And I looked at her and I was like, I'll take the lemonade, please. She brought it over and I took a sip. I was like, well, that was $1.50. And in that moment, I started panicking. I did. I was sitting in the chair and I started panicking. I was like, oh my gosh, what have I just done? What have I just done? I mean, we can't get an appetizer at dinner tonight. We're gonna have to go to Walgreens and get granola bars for breakfast. Like, what did I do? And I looked at Winston and I was like, I need to know the budget. Did we budget for pool snacks? Like, I need to know the budget. I was like, what? And in that moment, I'll tell you, it was not the ridiculous pool prices that were freaking me out, even though it was ridiculous. I told a story one time, and this girl tweeted me, and she was like, you lose all credibility when you buy an $18 lemonade. I was like, oh, shut up. I'm sorry. Okay, I made a mistake. She got water, whatever. So it was not the prices, though, that were freaking me out. I realized that for the first time in years, I felt completely out of control of my money. I had no idea where it was going. And that's the moment I realized that a budget does not limit your freedom. A budget gives you freedom. It gives you permission to spend money. And that is how I teach budgeting. Not, it's 5th grade math, do it. I weave it into my story, and I found my voice that I didn't like budgeting at first, but if a free spirit spender can learn to love the budget, so can all of you. And that's what I get to tell audiences across America. Because you know what? There's a spender and a free spirit sitting out in those audiences or watching that video who thinks, I can't do that. And I'm like, no, you can't, because I did it, and you can too. So find your voice, and in your voice, and in your messaging, and in your content, you guys, I'm going to be kind of like step out here, but seriously, I want you to be bold. If you are vanilla in your content, you are going to mix in with everyone else. Be bold. Find something that's different. Find something that's heretical. Find something that's going against the grain to give people hope. And one of the things that we are known for at Ramsey Solutions is getting people out of debt. This crazy idea of living without debt is crazy to people. They can't imagine it, but you know what? 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. There were 66% of them apparently are worried about it. Like, is everyone else having like a Cruze moment? Like, where's everyone else? Where are the other people? Paycheck to paycheck, you guys, 78%. It used to be 70, now it's up to 78%. And you know what debt does? Debt limits your freedom. It limits your options. Because when you owe someone something, you are stuck in a habit, you're stuck in a position that you don't have the freedom to get out. Debt is a thief, my friend Chris Hogan says. It not only steals your income from you, but it steals your peace of mind. It steals your sleep at night. Things change when you owe people something. But when you are free from that, when you're not worried about MasterCard calling you, or Sally Mae, who's like become everyone's BFF, and she's like living in your top bedroom, it's like, get her out, get her out. Car payments, like, no. The car payments are just the way of life. No, they're not. They don't have to be. You get to choose what kind of standard of living you have. You get to choose what to do. And some people choose bondage day in and day out. And there are people in America that are sick and tired, being sick and tired. They sit in traffic, they go to a job they hate, they deal with jerky bosses, all to freaking pay their credit card bill. We're done, and we're getting people out of debt completely, and they get to taste freedom for the first time in their life. But it's weird. She is weird. But I'm telling you, broke is normal. And I will be as weird as possible, and I'm okay with that. But find that, you guys. Find that conviction in your messaging.